that these people were people. So whenever we got to Japan, and we spent some time there, being 19 years old, well, I was very interested in all the models, the model planes and the model ships and stuff. Those Japanese people are meticulous in what they do. They do some of the most beautiful paintings and most make some of the prettiest models. And I got to know a Japanese gentleman over there that he was probably, at that time, probably 70 years old. And he was just as kind and as gentle as any man that I believe I've ever known. And he told me one time about whenever the Japanese knew they were going to surrender, that there was a big mountain in Yokosuka, Japan, and there were thousands, he said, of people that committed harikiri because they thought that the Americans were going to come in and murder everybody and do all this stuff. So that was what they were told, and we were told something different. But I found the Japanese to be, after I got to know them, most of them were just like us.
My name is Reese West, and most of you said that one of your main reasons for joining the military was that jobs were hard to find when y'all got out of high school. How did the military help y'all prepare for jobs and help find out what you wanted to do after you got out of the military?
Well, I actually had not graduated from high school. I was 17 years old. I picked up the paperwork. I was sworn in the Army 6 days after my 17th birthday. The military helped me get my high school education. They also helped me with about almost 3 years of college. And since I've got out, I've finished up a couple of degrees. So, but the military really prepared me for life itself. Because at the time I went in, I was working at a place in West Texas, Rankin, called the Rancher's Wool and Mohair. Basically, I was loading stock feed and hay on trucks and stuff like that. I mean, it just about all I could do.
In 1968, I was getting ready to retire. I was getting ready to retire, and that was going to be the largest group at SAC headquarters that had ever retired. They had to move it from the theater because they didn't have room for us. Now, what prompted this prior to that was people were getting out, military. They'd spent 20, 30 years in there and didn't have enough ability to know that they're going to have to move somewhere in the near future. They didn't even think about getting an address, whatever, have their checks forwarded to, or whatever. But President Truman started a program called Project Transition. And I don't have any idea that it's in effect today, but I was getting ready, like I say, in 68, and they was having trouble getting someone to replace me for my job up there. And my commander says, just take off. We just want to know where you are in the event we need you. So we came to Fort Worth to see her folks. No, we were getting ready to go to Illinois and see my folks, and I got stopped. Couldn't go on account they needed me. And got ready to come to Fort Worth, and I got a message that they would need me back up there. So I said I couldn't do anything if I had to be available, and I still couldn't do anything. So I went down there to see about this schooling. And I asked the guy, he said, you got anything starting up anytime soon? He said, Monday, got one. I said, put me in for it. He said, well, you don't even know what it is. I said, I just want to put in for it. But it was for a postal course, of all things. and I wound up working for civil service and post office for 23 years. Had no idea, but there was some forethought about this with Truman. I don't know whether it's still there or not, but a very effective program.
Have time?
Yes, sir.
When I got called up to active duty, I had a job working telephone company, and so that was fine. But what the military did for me, well, it opened my eyes to there are other places in this world. There were other things in this world that were happening that I didn't know about in Irving, Texas. We didn't move. We didn't go out of state too many times. Of course, my family was where we couldn't afford to take many trips here or there. So my world was kind of limited. But it did give me the opportunity to see that there were other people in this world doing different things. And it made me understand that if I wanted to do, if I was gonna do anything with my life, then I would have to take the initiative and go do it. So after I got out, well, I went to college, and that's where I met my wife. I didn't finish my college because the degree that I was going for would not have hit me in the field that I was in. So, but I did have, I was a senior whenever I graduated, but it provided me with the opportunity to see what this world was.
I'd like to thank Kenneth Smith, J.C. Campbell, Fred Zimmerman. Our radio broadcast is about to close, but we will continue for some questions after the end of the radio broadcast. So let's all thank our veterans as we wind down from the live broadcast on KURT 100.7. We have another